Hey everyone, and welcome. We're jumping right into Python today. It's one of those programming languages that's just everywhere. Ever wonder what powers your favorite apps or those crazy new AI tools? Well, there's a really, really good chance Python is working its magic behind the scenes.
But why, right? What makes one programming language just completely take over the world? I mean, we're talking about everyone from brand new startups to the absolute biggest names in tech using it. And the secret isn't just what it can do, it's really about how it does it.
And honestly, it all comes down to three big things. Simplicity, it's just so easy to get started with. Power, this thing has the horsepower to tackle pretty much anything you throw at it. And maybe most importantly, community. A massive global army of developers all helping each other out. We're going to break down each one of these.
All right, so let's tackle that first big question. Why is Python literally everywhere? The short answer, it's just incredibly versatile. I mean, it's like the Swiss Army knife of coding. It shows up in almost every corner of the tech world you can think of.
And I'm not kidding about that reach. Think about data science. You've got tools like Pandas that let you slice and dice massive amounts of data like it's nothing. Or web development. You've got powerhouse frameworks like Django that run some of the biggest websites you probably use every single day. But wait, there's more. It's also the go-to for automating all those boring, repetitive tasks, for building apps that run on your computer, and even for controlling robots and all those smart IoT devices. It really is a jack of all trades.
So what's the secret sauce that makes all this possible? Well, at its heart, Python was designed for humans first. The code itself is super clean and readable. It almost looks like you're reading plain English sometimes. And that's a huge deal, right? It just smashes the barrier to entry. You don't need to be some kind of computer science genius to get started. And that's exactly why everyone, from total beginners to hardcore pros, just kind of falls in love with it. Okay, so we've seen why it's so popular. Now let's pop the hood and look at the what. What are the actual pieces, the core ingredients that make this whole thing tick? Let's dive in.
So the most basic thing any program has to do is remember stuff, store information, right? In Python, we use something called a variable. And honestly, the best way to picture it is just a box with a label on it. You pick a name for the label, and you can stick whatever information you want inside to grab later. That's it. Super simple. Now, obviously, you're not just going to put one kind of thing in these boxes. And those different kinds of things are called data types. So you can have boxes for numbers, for doing math. You can have boxes for text, which programmers call strings. That's just for words and sentences. And you can even have boxes that just hold a simple true or false, which are called Booleans. Super useful for making decisions. But okay, just storing stuff in boxes isn't that exciting. The real magic happens when your code can make decisions. And that's where control flow comes in. Just think of it like a traffic cop for your code. It uses really simple, human-readable statements like, hey, if this thing is true, go this way, or else, go that way. This is what lets your program actually think and react to what's going on.
All right, so we've got our basic ingredients. Variables for storage, data types for what we're storing, and control flow for decisions. But if you just dump all those ingredients into one giant bowl, you're gonna have a huge mess, especially when your program starts to get big. So how does Python keep everything from turning into a total disaster?
Yeah, this really nails the problem, doesn't it? Building a house with no rooms, a car where everything is welded together, it's just chaos. If your code is just one massive, endless line, good luck trying to fix something or add a new feature. It's a nightmare. You have to have a way to break things down into smaller, manageable chunks. And here comes the solution, the function. A function is just a neat, tidy little package of code that has a name and does one specific job. That's it. It's the room in our house. Think about it. You don't relearn how to make coffee every morning. You have a make coffee routine, a function, and you just run it. Same idea here. Write the code once, give it a name, and then you can use it over and over again. And this is pretty much what it looks like. Don't worry, you don't need to memorize this right now. The main thing to notice is just how simple the structure is. You just say def, which is short for define, give your function a name, and then in the parentheses, you list out any ingredients it might need to work. We call those parameters. Let's stick with that food theme, because the recipe analogy is perfect here. Think of def as you writing recipe at the top of a card. The function name is the title, Grandma's Amazing Cookies. The parameters, those are your ingredients listed right on the card. Flour, sugar, chocolate chips. And that return thing at the end, that's the final product. It's the batch of warm, gooey cookies that the recipe gives back to you when you're all done.
Okay, this is where things get really, really cool. What if I told you that you don't have to write every single recipe yourself? Imagine having access to a giant global cookbook where the best chefs in the world have already shared their perfect recipes for free. Well, that's exactly what Python has, and it's probably its biggest superpower, the community. So when developers take a bunch of these recipes, these functions that all do similar things, they bundle them up into something called a module. The best way to think about a module is like a pre-packed toolkit. You don't have to buy every single screw and wrench yourself. You just grab the plumbing toolkit or the electrical toolkit when you need it. It's all ready to go.
And this right here, this is the game changer. That global community we talked about, all these amazing developers, students, and enthusiasts, they create these toolkits and then just share them with everyone for free. This has created this unbelievable ecosystem of what we call libraries. And trust me, there's a library out there for pretty much anything you could ever dream of doing. And we are not talking about little hobby projects. We're talking about heavy-duty, industry-standard stuff. You've got Pandas and NumPy, which are the absolute kings of data science. You have TensorFlow, which literally comes from Google and powers so much of the AI you see today. You've got Django and Flask, which are behind huge, complex websites. All this incredible power is just sitting there waiting for you to use it, all thanks to that amazing community. So there you have it. We've looked at the why, its incredible versatility. The what, the simple building blocks like variables and functions. And the how, the superpower of its community and all those shared libraries. It all comes back to those three things: simplicity, power, and community. So with all of that at your fingertips, the only real question left is, what are you going to build?